Welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known, a special midday edition. And today we're asking the question, should someone be on the bench like forever, a judge? Well, we're going to talk about what's going on in Washington with one elderly judge who I say was probably on the bench since George Washington was president. We're going to talk about what they are doing, some of her colleagues are doing to try and remove her. Also, a Walgreens employee apparently falsely claimed that two Black women, one of whom was 7 months pregnant, stole something. And despite the store's policy that directs employees not to leave the store to pursue alleged shoplifters, this guy does just that. And guess what? You probably heard the story by now. He shoots the 7-month pregnant woman. We're going to discuss that. No charges have yet been filed. Why? It's really crazy. Also, the family of a Black teenager who was shot in Kansas City after mistakenly ringing the wrong doorbell has hired Ben Crump and S. Lee Merritt as they seek justice. Yeah, he went to the wrong house, and it was clearly an accident that he went to the wrong house. But this young 15-year-old should not have been shot. And a historic Black church in Pittsburgh has actually done something good, had something good happen to them, I should say. They reached a deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins of the National Hockey League to have land taken from the church back in the Jim Crow era returned. But first, the disturbing story of authorities in Texas who took custody of a newborn baby from a Black couple who chose to treat their baby's jaundice at home with the assistance of a midwife and a doula instead of at a hospital. Let's talk about that this afternoon with Totally Randy coming to us live from Texas. What's going on, Randy?
It's National Crawfish Day. I know we're talking about some
National who?
things.
It's National who?
Crawfish Day.
Oh, Lord. That's Louisiana stuff. We're not talking Louisiana.
We are next door to Louisiana. So, Beyonce is from Third Ward, Texas, baby, and she talks about her daddy is from Alabama, her mom's Louisiana. So, because Texas is right next door to Louisiana.
Why do I have to hear what Beyonce says or thinks? Why do I have to hear what Beyonce says or thinks, huh? I guess it's better than hearing what her husband thinks.
We have a lot of Louisiana together with us. We are next door neighbors. So crawfish is a big deal here in Texas, and it is National Crawfish Day. So I am celebrating today. But that's some heavy news you hit on, Stacey. Like, what's up with that? It's Monday, and you're bringing more bags on us.
Well, this is how we're going to start this week, right? We starting it late, and we starting it today. Power 96 is feeling the Crawfish Day, I see.
See?
Where you at? You know, I thought you was in New York somewhere. He's talking about crawfish. How do you make crawfish? How do you cook it? I don't know if I've ever had it. As many times I've been to New Orleans.
Oh my goodness! If you've never had crawfish, please, you have to come. Hit up Terry. Shout out to the publisher, Data News Weekly, Terry in Louisiana. Hit up Terry. You got to come down, and we have a big crawfish fest there in Louisiana.
Just not so sure that I'm going to trust anything that Terry Jones is putting. Just not so sure about that, Terry.
Terry, listen, I'm on your side. You see your best friend? You see how he rock with you? That's so horrible. No, like a lot of people, they put a lot of stuff on the crawfish, but if you're from Louisiana, you know that the boil, you soak it in. So you literally have oranges. I know oranges. Yes, oranges. Everything citrus. Oranges, lemons. You put it in the soak. You know, you soak it. Your seasonings, onions, garlic, obviously. You know, and then of course any type of spices that you like. I like mine super spicy. I like for my nose to run when I'm eating crawfish. And then there's a way to eat it. So when it's that all those flavors are soaked in. You boil your corn and potatoes. Some of them, some people like mushrooms. That's me. They like, some people put turkey necks in their boil. They put crab in there, any type of seafood, sausage.
Sounds like a lot.
It's Power 96. I know you're feeling me right now. I probably have you, hungry, and it's not even lunchtime. Well, it's lunch for some people, but I'm hungry. Okay, but yeah, it's a big deal. Crawfish is a big deal in the South, and I
Right.
can't believe you've never had it. You have to come down and try our crawfish.
We'll see about that. But anyway, topping our topics this afternoon, reproductive justice advocates are rallying behind a Dallas couple after authorities took their 3-week-old daughter over concerns about her medical needs. More than 24 organizers with the AFIA Center, a Black-centered reproductive justice group, advocates, and others gathered at the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services in Dallas on Thursday, and then again, first on Thursday, and then over the weekend, demanding that they return the newborn Mila to her parents, Rodney and Tamika. She was born into was taken into state custody last month after a pediatrician told authorities that the parents opted to treat her for jaundice at home rather than hospital. Jaundice is not, now correct me if I'm wrong, tell me about John. It's not a life-threatening thing, right?
No, and as a matter of fact, so many babies. There's a lot of babies that are born, and when they're born, they experience that, right? Jaundice is something that they get, but it's not a life-threatening anything. As a matter of fact, I believe when reading up on it, one of the approved ways to treat it is breastfeeding in sunlight, which is what her and her doula was doing. This is just like I told you earlier. We had a brief conversation about it. It feels like it should be illegal, but I see how they did the loophole, right? And the mom and the dad said that it feels like retaliation, which I'm not even going to. I'm not going to hold you. Unfortunately,
Sounds like retaliation. Let's face it. The doctor wants to treat the baby at a hospital, right? That's a hospital bill, and they're saying no. We got a midwife. We got a doula.
right. And it's weird to me because, especially in this environment, right? Didn't want, I think it was Spike Lee something or another. I think she partnered with someone else, but they just literally just did a documentary on Black mothers and their death rate when it comes to giving birth. But really, it's surrounding everything. Our healthcare when it comes to having our children, it's just like there's always something, right? It's always something. Either our pain isn't taken seriously enough, or they're losing us for very simple mistakes. And then once now we can't even have our kids and treat our kids the way we want to without this happening. And not only is the baby taken away, but now I think the process that they're going through is they won't be able to see their baby after a long while, because the way that the process has it, the baby is still in CPS. It's just it's tiring. And
they appear to be two able-bodied parents who made a decision that should be a private decision.
right.
Unless there was some sort of serious illness with this baby,
Or
and they
negligence. Or negligence.
negligence, really, right? There's no reason to have had this baby taken away from her parents. These seem to be two young, they're in their 30s, working class, healthy parents. There's no reason for this except understand that, as we've been talking about so much, the rights, when that whole Roe v. Wade happened, Clarence Thomas made some comments, some other justices made some comments, and then just recently, Gavin Newsom, the California governor, made some serious comments along the lines of uh, they're coming for all rights. And really, insert the word, or two words, Black people. They're coming for everything.
That was going to be my next statement, Stacey. That was going to literally be my next statement. A lot of people say, why is it that, race has to be a factor? Well, because in 2020,
that's what it's all about, unfortunately.
Right. And I want people to really be logical about this. In 2020, right? we had a global pandemic that is still not over, right? But for some people it's over, but it's still not over. Global pandemic. In 2021, when they came out with the vaccine, how many parents, non-black parents, were saying, my child is not going to get the vaccine. I'm not going to do that. We are parents against non-vax. I want to know, where was this energy for those parents? Where was this
Well,
energy?
the thing about it is when we say that they're coming for us, you look at what's going on, not just on the federal level with the House, with the Congress, but certainly in places like Texas and Florida and Mississippi and Georgia. Um, we've been covering so much, but then you see something like this, and you can't allow any of this to fly under the radar. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the guy that was arrested for leaking those classified military documents that has jeopardized the lives of so many people. Releasing those
Right,
documents last week and continues to jeopardize the lives
right,
of hundreds, probably thousands of U.S. Military people, U.S. CIA members, U.S. spies. Their lives are now, and not just their lives, their families. And Marjorie Taylor Greene goes to his defense. And even Lindsey Graham had to lash out at her for that, a fellow Republican. But understand, here's where it's going. So it's about this guy who leaked this. So MAGA sees them, people like that, and the insurrectionists as allies to the cause. And what is the cause, right? The cause is we may not put these people back in slavery, transatlantic slave trade type slavery, but we
right.
certainly can make these laws, and they are doing it, Jim Crow again. And it wouldn't surprise me, as wild as this may sound, Randy, that we start to see again signs when you walk into grocery stores or whatever department store, colored white or black white, fountain bathroom. Would not surprise me. Y'all can challenge me on that. It's not going to surprise me.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I would have challenged you on it. I would have laughed at you had this not been, had our literal, the way we're moving is backwards, and that's not actually wild to say, because you have people who want the old way of America. Like, when
You
I
got
hear
a
that
lot
whole
of
"Make
them.
America Great Again," I'm like, when was America great? Somebody
Yeah.
please tell me when
Well, you
America
got to
was
see.
great.
Let me say. You have to see. It's funny you say that, and I mentioned this one time before. You have to see this recent video. Ti was on a panel with some others, including Candace Owens of all people, and he went in on just what you just said. Tell me, when was America great again? And what? So he broke it down to y'all, people who think like you, and those people who are pushing it. America was great when there was Jim Crow. America was great when before Rosa Parks sat on that bus. America was great when the Klan was free to roam around and lynch. And I mean, he went in on her. And okay, so Greer says it's an old video, but
It's an old video.
it stands the test of time, because that's what that whole make. We knew that from the moment Trump introduced that slogan. We knew what it meant. But so instead of getting caught up, right, in just the slogan itself, look at they are the masters of, as Michael Jackson used to say, throwing rocks and hide your hand. They're the masters of that, right? And so they're
Absolutely.
doing all this other stuff behind the scenes while we are yelling that they're openly talking about make America great again, and we know it. But behind the scenes, they are doing these laws. They are taking over cities that have black mayors. They're doing all this stuff.
Yeah. And
So,
it,
so this whole
and
slogan, Randy, of stay woke. Well, I said it before. If you're sleeping, don't even bother waking up.
I mean, unfortunately, especially here in Texas, and it's it's crazy
Texas,
that
Florida, you name it.
I'm here, and so we're seeing it, every single day. Just the backwards movement, right? We're supposed to be progressing, we're not. It's just it's unfortunate, but it's also scary to think of, because I have a young child, and you probably think, so many people, well, why aren't they having? Who wants to have a baby during this time? Who wants to have a baby in an environment like this?
Well, isn't that
And this is
so?
when I tell people, when you wake up every single day, the world does not operate the same for everybody.
Right.
The world does not operate the same. People say that, yeah, of course, life is going to be, you're going to experience life differently. No, no, no. There's groups of people who are experiencing a horrible way of life. And I'm trying to get that out there so people can understand. Even when you see some of the people that are not black that protest, I saw a lady that, you saw a couple of them during the protest. You see the big signs that says 66 years later, I'm still protesting this. That's asinine. That's insane. That's what we're living in, though.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
living in a world where you can literally have a baby, choose to have a certified doula, a certified. She's not her sister's cousin, uncle, brother, mom, girlfriend. She's a certified professional.
But you know what is really interesting, Randy, is there's been a migration, a great migration too, dare I say, of African Americans back to the South. Why is that today? Why is that? I know rents and mortgages are so high in the North, but they're also high in the South. Probably not as high, but it would take it would be God's direction, and I'd have to know it's God's direction for me to live in the South right now.
I totally understand, but the caveat to that is, and you hit it on the head. Yes, the cost of living is lower down here, even though it's high, it's still lower down here. Not only that, but the reason why also there's a great migration is because there's also a great migration of companies that are moving here too. So there's job opportunities in an environment where the unemployment line is around the corner and out the door. Just one of my best friends literally just said her company laid off 20% of its employees. So
Mhm.
there are, with Amazon and Tesla and some Silicon Valley members moving to Texas, there is a huge migration to come to the South.
Yeah,
But we're living in times where you can work remotely. So I'm with you, Stacey. If you don't have to live here.
but you know what? So to go along with that real quick, and we got to move on to the next topic. I wrote a story just this morning. It's on the NMPA's internal news wire, and soon some of our newspapers will pick it up, and ultimately Black Press USA will pick it up as well. The cost, if you want to take home $100,000 in New York, your salary must be $346,000 to take home $100,000. If you are living in Washington, D.C., to take home $100,000, your salary must be $300,000. So the cost of living is factored in, and it's so high in these
Yeah.
places. So I get your point. Even in the story I wrote this morning for our NMPA publishers, that it's just we're being priced out. We're
That
being
means somebody is also lying on TikTok. Not on TikTok, on Twitter. I had to throw in that joke in there. That means somebody's lying, because on Twitter, there's always this conversation about, oh, making six figures and,
Yeah, but we did a
starting
story also along those lines. We did a story recently too about that.
right.
Six-figure income earners, right? Those who make six figures, many of them, more than ever in history, are living paycheck to paycheck still.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
is a real testament of how things are. But we can talk about that all day.
We can't.
Um,
I'm
but
praying
here,
for that Dallas family, though. Hopefully,
hopefully that will, real soon. Hopefully, we're going to talk in a little bit about Ben Crump. We know he's like uh, the modern day, what's his name? Oh gosh, the Supreme Court Justice. Come on, Thurgood Marshall.
I'm waiting on
Um,
you. Look.
I mean, he's every claim. everything that happens, he's right there when it comes to the Black community. So maybe they'll get Mr. Crump involved. Hopefully it does. It's a case he feels worth pursuing as
We'll see.
well.
I'm going to keep my eye on that story.
Yeah, so we'll see. But a Nashville woman is in critical condition. Um, she had to have an emergency C-section performed to deliver her premature baby after being shot multiple times by a Walgreens employee. The Walgreens employee, his name is Matarius Boyd, 21 years old. He told
Give me that.
police, I'm
Give
sorry?
it to me. Give me all the money because I'm suing. That's it. I'm suing.
Well, he told police that this woman and her friend were seen shoplifting from the store. And when he went to confront them in the parking lot, they sprayed him with mace. And so he opened fire. He's claiming stand your ground. So here's the thing with that. Homicide detectives, of course, with the Metro Nashville Police, they say they are investigating the shooting and the self-defense claim. But once the investigation is complete, the Nashville District Attorney's Office will decide whether there will be any charges. But the thing is, the women say they pay for everything and they have receipts that they pay for everything, right? But the other part of this, Walgreens policy, if a shoplifter, and this is a policy on many stores, and it doesn't encourage shoplifting, it encourages avoiding stuff like this. If a shoplifter leaves the store, do not pursue. You got cameras and everything else, right?
That's what your rule book says.
This is Walgreens policy,
right?
And yet he decided to go out, right, with his gun and shoot these women.
So let's start with the rule book. Your handbook, your employee handbook, your rule book says for you not to pursue. Okay. He claimed that he was afraid. And this is where I need to know what race was he that shot these women? Because how are you so afraid that you pursue somebody that could possibly kill you? I'm going after, I've never seen anybody run after Michael Myers. I've never seen not one soul say, I am so scared of Jason, I'm going after him. I've never seen anybody say, I am so afraid of these mass killers, I'm running up to him. No, like I'm tired of that. I'm so sick and tired of, I'm afraid for my life. You're not afraid of anything going after people after your handbook told you not to do that. That is not your policy. And then you get upset because you're maced.
And he picks 2 Black women to go after like that, right?
One that's pregnant. Sir, how can she hurt you? I would mace you too. If I didn't steal anything, if the cameras are showing that I didn't steal anything, and these women are saying that and this is another thing too, Stacey. How is it that we are making people guilty before proven innocent? Like, right? Isn't it supposed to be innocent until proven guilty?
Well, see, I believe that went out especially when it comes to certain people, that went out the door a long time ago. And, I mentioned this not long ago, but I'll never forget Cyrus Vance, the former Manhattan DA, glad he's gone, made a statement after the Harvey Weinstein conviction and said this. He said his exact words were, just a accusation should suffice for conviction. Just an accusation. This was a sitting district attorney. And Harvey Weinstein did horrible things to these women, deserve what he's got. Now, this is not a defense in any way, shape, or form of Harvey Weinstein. But to say that a accusation is enough for a conviction, it tells you the mindset of people in law enforcement, because let's remember that the district attorney is considered the top cop, right? Law enforcement's mindset is also the mindset of the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world, the Donald Trumps of the world, Tim Scotts of the world, and much of Congress, much of the Senate. This is the world we currently live in. This is the world that, 50 years ago, 55 years ago, they shot and killed Martin Luther King 55 years ago, right? And at that time, before his assassination, they had these Civil Rights Act passed. Before his assassination, there was the Voting Rights Act passed. All these other things happened, and we shall overcome. And you had all of this marching and everything like that. And this was supposed to eradicate much of this. Now, King and his followers and his co-workers were not delusional. They never said this was going to go away forever, or this was going to go away completely, I should say. But I guarantee you, they did not think that here we are in 2023, 55 years later, the issues are the same and really worse.
People don't see it like that because technology and things of that sort. But just really quickly to respond to that, I saw a commercial that threw me. It threw me so bad. It was a Jewish nun hate commercial, and I thought to myself, I get it. I totally understand. I'm not in one way, fashion, or form am I taking anything away from anybody that have experienced any type of hate. But it is so wild to me that a non-Jewish hate commercial and a Asian hate bill, while Black people are literally being slaughtered daily, it is just so wild to me how we can live in this
society. It's by design.
Right. Like it's just, so again, this woman is 7 months pregnant. Yeah. I'm suing and I want the money. You said something, Stacey, on one of your shows a while back. You said start going after the insurance company. And that was different.
Yeah.
It was different. I get it. It was a different topic, a different thing, but I get what you were saying, right? Like,
no, we were talking, and I remember that, and I can't take the credit for that. I think it was more Barrington Salmon, but the idea was that you go after the police's insurance, right? The cops' insurance, and that's how you can try and you can kind of quell what's been going on. At least put some cold water on it anyway. Stop it a little bit, because if they gotta feel it in the pocket. Right, then they'll stop. It'll stop. Go after the gun manufacturers too, and he's right. But they're not allowing it. Look, just last week, Donald Trump and Mike Pence headlined the NRA's conference.
Right. And this is bad. You would think, that's another thing too. People not coming out, and I get it. The legal team and Walgreens have to get together and come out and make a statement. Sir, this is in your handbook. I'm period. I am filing a lawsuit. Period. And I'm going after everybody that I can go after. If I gotta sue him, Walgreens, I'm gonna sue whoever made the gun come. I'm suing every single body I can. Because it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I also want him to be arrested, charged, and
absolutely,
at least tried. Let a jury decide at the very least, because this stuff has been going on, and we continue to see it, and hopefully this young lady will.
And can I say one last thing? This is my last point on this. People don't realize and understand that surviving a shooting doesn't look like the movies. You're not up and walking around and you're good. Sometimes surviving a shooting means you still have bullet fragments in your body. You have pain now where you didn't have pain before. Long-term effects could be right. Exactly. It's so many long-term effects. Surviving a shooting, especially of this kind, like especially when you had. There's nothing that you did. Like it's not as simple as well. At least she survived.
And Randy, the fact that this guy could feel the emboldenedness to shoot her up 7 months means that she was showing big time, right? And so you had absolutely no hesitation to shoot.
Right.
I don't care if she maced you, because guess what? That's a woman who felt like you knew she felt she was in danger. You knew that. 7 months pregnant, she's already a little on edge.
Right.
So, this idea, look, Yes, without question. That's a given.
Right.
But this guy needs to face the music in the criminal justice system. You know, more than 60 years ago, a historic black church was forced to give up its sanctuary, compensated for what it says was a fraction of its value to an urban renewal project that wiped out the heart of an African American neighborhood known as the Hill District in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh. Now, Bethel AME Church is poised to reclaim some of that land. The Pittsburgh Penguins have reached a deal. The Penguins had the developmental rights to the site, and now they have given it back, or they have given it back to the church after all of these years, decades and decades. It's a battle, you know, that been going on since to the 1950s. But here's the thing with that. The fact that they are giving this land back, some say it's a form of reparations, et cetera, et cetera. A bigger piece to me, and maybe it's trivial to some, but a bigger piece to me is, why is the National Hockey League, why haven't they done a better job by now of dealing with the African American community? They do no business whatsoever with black businesses, right? They have currently 54 active players in the National Hockey League who are of Arab, Asian, Latino, or indigenous or black, which makes up roughly about 7% of the overall league. In fact, if you break it down, there are 23 black players in the league, which has about 1,100 players. But my point is, there's been more and more people of color playing that game. I've gone to hockey games, right? New York Rangers, and I'm seeing more black people play hockey. But the outreach, here's what the NHL does, which is really, people will say, oh, it's a good thing. But if you think about it, it's one of those, let's throw them a bone type thing. Black History Month, they do some things like everybody else, right? But once Black History Month ends, it's nothing. They do absolutely nothing. Why is it that this major sports league is able to continue to go on and ignore black businesses and black institutions?
I love that Stacy is not satisfied. Stacy is not satisfied with the bone that the NHL just threw black people. And I get it. I totally understand where you're coming from, Stacy, but I have to take a minute to celebrate this small win, right? Celebrate this silver lining. I like this. Turn this music up. And I think one of the statements were made was, hey, we can't do anything about the past, but the NHL has an opportunity going forward to do more, you know, and maybe they will take into consideration, if we make enough noise about it, you know, surrounding it, that, hey, okay, this was a step towards progress. This is one step. That's great. Let's continue to do more. You know, here's an opportunity for you to do more. Here's an opportunity for you to take on leadership, you know. And
Pittsburgh has a vibrant black community too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But overall, you know, the NHL, the National Hockey League, must do better. And like with anything, and I hear it said a lot too, and it makes a whole lot of sense. When black people when you work with black people, corporate America, you do better, right? The NHL is a fantastic sport. I love and it's playoff time now. The best of all the professional sports, the most exciting playoffs is the National Hockey League playoffs by far. You can have your Super Bowl, you can have your NBA playoffs, your Major League Baseball playoffs. They are great. I'm a big baseball fan first, right. But I would rather go to a National Hockey League playoff game than any other playoff sports. It is the most exciting, but they play 60 minutes, the most exciting 60 minutes in sports, period. I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to win that argument with me if you argue against it. But I'm a black man, so just think, and I know that others. I've taken my sister. I've taken others to NHL games, and they have absolute. I will never forget my sister. The first time I took her was this year, and I'll never forget. I ain't going. I don't want to go to that. Why would I want to? It's not for us. I'm like, no, it's for us.
Hockey is amazing. I'm gonna be real honest.
She
Hockey
loved
is,
it when she. Let me just say, she absolutely loved it.
yeah. Hockey is amazing. I love sports, period, right? Um, but hockey is absolutely amazing. It's an amazing sport. I love that we are seeing more because for a while, even growing up, and again, that is how you're trained, right? Even growing up, oh, it's a white sport. Black kids don't play it, and like you said, that's absolutely not true. All races are in hockey. And
It's
I
a
love sports,
European
period. I
sport.
love competitive sports, but
There's no question. It's a European sport, right?
right, it's a European sport,
Most of
but
the
like,
players are somewhere. They're Russian. They're Polish. They're
right,
they're Canadian, which is North America. I know, but those are but you get a lot. Some of the best players, if not the best players, were Russian or Polish or one of those European countries.
right,
But
and and I get it. Like I totally understand, where they are, but I love that they are taking the opportunity to take this lead. Now I saw California first. California was the first, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in giving reparations, right?
well, they haven't given it yet. They
Well,
have
right,
they've come to some sort of understanding of what it would look like,
right,
and
right.
in July they're going to formally vote on it.
Absolutely right. So I'm like, just to see again, just to see them say, okay, hey, this is what there's an opportunity, right? But there's
I
also
don't
an
believe that to
opportunity.
the checkers cut though. I'm gonna tell you right
I mean,
now.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying, but at least they put it out there because there's
mhm.
so many that are not even, they could care less, especially down here in Texas. you know,
Yeah, yeah,
we have whole neighborhoods being taken over still right now.
yeah.
Without anything being given to those people. But that's neither here nor there. NHL. I'm glad that they did this, but again, like you said, they do have an opportunity. Hopefully, this is the first step towards doing what's right.
Yep. Well, the family of a black teenager shot after he rang the wrong doorbell, apparently mistaking the residence for one a block over, has hired a pair of national civil rights lawyers, prominent civil rights lawyers. Lee Merritt and Ben Crump announced on yesterday, that they were taking the case in Kansas City, Missouri, and they are upset, as well they should be, that authorities have released the shooter, a white man, of course. This 16-year-old boy went to pick up his siblings, and the address his mother gave him was 1100 Northeast 115th Street, 115th Street, right? Well, he went to 150 instead of 115th Street. He went to 115th Terrace, and because he rang this apparent racist doorbell, the individual shot him, and he's fighting. He's trying to recover from the gunshot wounds. We talked about gunshot wounds earlier, but this right here, there is no stand your ground here. You cannot argue this young man, and it's on the ring cam, right? That all he did was ring the wrong bell by accident. This is outrageous.
I Power 96 put a statement, but I wanted to go back to the statement that they said about Walgreens. They said go after the gun manufacturer. Listen, I don't know what we can do. Gun control. It,
But then, see, no, but let me stop you for a second, Randy. This is, yeah, it's about gun control too, but this is about flat out I privilege. I can shoot you. I can kill you because you're black, and nothing
yes,
can happen to
yes,
you.
but we know that that's what they have empowered. by doing this whole, permitless carry, and oh, this you have the right for it. Right. That's how they empowered it. I mean, this is what we're faced with. We're here already. We're here. I don't know how to, I don't know how to combat this. Honestly, there's nothing I can. I'm so speechless as we're looking at this story, and it's like, how do you combat it? What do you go after? What do you say? Oops, I gave my son the wrong address, or he put the wrong address in his maps. But either way, when you empower human beings with the right to shoot at any given time, yeah, you're gonna have people who have racist mind. Any black person I see that crossed the line that I can legally get away with it, yeah, they're gonna mow them down. I mean, and that's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate.
And here we're talking about Kansas City. We've been talking about Texas. We know about Florida, Mississippi. We know about Georgia. We know about all these other states, and Tennessee, and now we're talking about Kansas City, Missouri, right? So it's like it's a sanctuary.
You know what it reminded me of, and I literally said this after Florida, because Florida just passed this law. It's open carry. It's not permitless carry. It's open carry that Florida is getting ready to pass. Right. This is what I said about this. Right, because we have permitless carry in Texas. I said that there's a scene on a movie that I absolutely love called Tombstone. There's a scene where the sheriff of that town, not the sheriff, I think he's the mayor or governor or whatever of the town, comes out, and he's trying to tell your boy Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday how this is a really good cosmopolitan town. It's a really good town. It's booming. And as soon as he says that, you have a shootout where these guys come out, pow pow, they shoot each other, they kill somebody. One got his ear shot off, and he literally says at that time, "Oh, we're gonna have those guns." That's how I'm thinking that we're gonna start experiencing that, right? Because people are gonna get tired of their kids getting shot up for no reason. And you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna start taking revenge. They're gonna start saying, okay, well, instead of protesting, instead of going to law enforcement, who's also not helping us, right? Because our kids are getting shot and thrown out of cars, and instead of doing that, we're just gonna tool up and take our guns, and we're gonna go back and we're gonna mow his house down. Like we're gonna find ways to do that, right? I feel like we're gonna move into that era, and it's just, I just look.
Yeah. Well, we will continue to keep our eye on the progress, really, of that.
What are they gonna do? What I want to know from you, Stacey. If this is your child, what happens?
Well, what can you do? You let the justice system, and Greer says we're both tongue-tied today, and she's absolutely right. You let the justice system run its course.
And we are, Greer, because look at the news that we're getting. What do you do when you gave your child the wrong address, or he put it in his phone wrong, and then he goes and somebody who has the right to bear arms and to shoots him? What do you do?
Yeah,
like you're protesting, true enough. You're gonna file it with the police station, true enough. But if we're constantly this is the same song we're hearing, and we're constantly getting it, what do you do?
Yeah, and here's the thing: there's a question that you asked that many parents dread. As a parent, would dread to have to really answer that question. We can only hope that something happens that changes things around what's going on. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to leave it right there.
I mean, I'm tired of hearing this story, Stacey. Honestly, like, we're tired of hearing the story. I really feel bad. I feel like people are going to retaliate, and it's going to be bad, because you have the Ahmaud Arbery story where you get literally ran down in your own neighborhood, shot and killed. Like, we constantly hear these stories over and over again.
And let me just leave it here that as frustrating as we are, one thing we don't want to do is encourage people to
not at all
take the law into their own hands.
Please don't think I don't even own a gun, y'all. Please don't think that I'm encouraging y'all to tool up. I'm not encouraging y'all to tool up. I'm just saying, if I'm thinking that way, most people are thinking that way.
Here's part of the problem right here. This next topic. A federal appeals judge in Washington is under investigation by her own court for allegedly failing to carry out her duties and refusing to respond to other judges' concerns. It's the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. You know, these appointments are lifetime appointments. So this order signed by Federal Circuit Judge, Chief Judge Kimberly Moore said a 3-judge committee had determined that Judge Pauline Newman suffers or may suffer a disability that interferes with her ability to perform the responsibilities of her office. She's also under investigation for misconduct for refusing to cooperate with an investigation or submit to a medical evaluation. Ladies and gentlemen, she's 95 years old.
I'm sorry for laughing because this is very, it's serious.
I mean, grandma, great grandma, no disrespect, but let's get off the bench.
I mean, but again, right? This is how you know, like, this is where the flaws are found, because why isn't there something in place that says, you know, when you get to and I get it, you don't want to, ageism is a thing. So we don't, want to put people out when they, obviously still have, but at least have them go through some type of test. And if you fail, baby, you got to get removed.
Yeah, it's just like, and perhaps one day that day will come for me. Certain seniors, when you don't drive. I mean, already I don't like driving, but nonetheless, this is a case where you are determining some important things, very important things, right? You're 95 years old. First of all, are you lonely? Do you need the stress at 95? Or maybe, let me look at it. Let me try to look at it from perhaps her point of view. Maybe this is what has allowed her to live to 95.
Maybe, but if you're making these grave mistakes that she's obviously making, Stacey, again, this is the flaw in our system, right? This is, everybody can see, oh, hey, this is a major flaw, because you should, if you're not complying, and I don't know, and look at her, look at look at where is she, Chris? Listen, if you cannot pass the test that they have set up for you, and that's the thing, you should automatically be removed. I don't know if they have that though. I don't know if that is an actual law, and that's the thing. Like, you know how many?
No, it's a lifetime appointment. Some of these federal appointments are lifetime. Hers,
right, and they could be lifetime appointments.
Like I said, I think George Washington appointed her.
Now listen, they could be lifetime appointments, but my thing is, where is it set in place? Because again, this is not the first time.
It's lifetime, just like the Supreme Court.
This is not the first time this has happened. Honestly, I really feel like the only reason why this, I feel like this is getting so much attention because we do live in a environment where there's social media and things of that sort. So you really can't get away with anything nowadays. But we know that this isn't the first time that this has happened, right? We know that, right? So why isn't there something in place?
But Randy, I was looking to see if any other judge reached 95. I haven't found yet if she or he might be out there. But my gosh. You're 95 years old. You were around when Moses was walking around. I mean, come on. She lived a long, it's like she's seen all the world wars, right? She lived through all the world wars, the 2 world wars, Korea.
She almost lived through 2 global pandemics.
And 2, almost, right?
Yeah.
It's doesn't make much sense. It underscores why these appointments should not be lifetime. It's one of the reasons that underscores it anyway.
And here's the thing, I really don't care about it being a lifetime appointment. It's more so that you have a contingency in place, because your job is your job, right? Like, there is a retirement age, but some people work past that. So I don't really care that it's a lifetime, change it up, don't let it be a lifetime appointment. I don't really care that if it's a lifetime appointment or not, but there should be a contingency in place to where if you're unable to do your job, you got to go. And that's just the first indication.
And this is what her colleagues are saying right now. You got to go. Power 96 writes in the age and term limits for judges is way overdue. I couldn't agree more. And
then I want to know too the cases. I want to look at that's another thing too.
Yeah, well, regardless of the cases, Randy, though, I believe that you no longer are accountable to anyone in a position that you should be accountable to everyone, right? When you're given this lifetime appointment. So I I'm with Power 96 on this. Term limits for judges is way overdue. Now, some might argue the age part, Power 96.
That's what I'm arguing, the age part, because ageism is a thing. That is a thing. We're very hard on people, especially women. Especially women when they get past a certain age. So yeah, a lot of times, like that part of discrimination too. Like we gotta, we walk a thin line. Power 96. We walk a very thin line when it comes to you know um, shortening their terms. That's why I said I don't care that it's a lifetime. It's all about the contingency. If she's not showing competency, okay, if she's not showing that, she got to go. She, he, them, whatever, they have to go, right?
We
But
gotta
they
get
need to put that into place.
we gotta get Judge Pauline Newman on Let It Be Known. How about
Pauline, she might come, especially she might come and talk with you, especially if she's doing her own thing. Because according to her colleagues, she's doing her own thing. She's not complying. She doesn't care about their competency test that they're giving her. She's not doing it. She's not picking up phone calls. She's literally doing what she wants to do. But allowing her to do that and still sit, that's absolutely not okay.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. I don't care what the law
Judge
says.
Pauline Newman, no disrespect, but come on, Judge. Give
And
somebody.
I'm gonna be real funny about this. When you're 95 years old anyway, I kind of I don't really trust that you have fair in your forefront because
Well, I'm not gonna put that on her. I'm not gonna put that on
I
her.
didn't. I just said I don't trust. I didn't say that
Yeah, I know.
she
I
did
know.
anything. I'm just like, I'm not trusting that anyway. I
I
think
know.
all of them should be removed and we replace, but still, again, they'll still be replaced with humans. So, but this is what you get when you don't have those contingencies in place. You get a Pauline Newman on here 95 saying, "Hey, I have silver privilege." I call this silver privilege. I don't really call this white privilege. I call this silver privilege because some people wanted to protect and keep their own little piece of happiness, and sometimes that is their careers and their jobs.
Well, the one career, and that is a federal judge. When depends and insure is in the program, it's time to step aside. Good Lord. Listen.
Pauline, come speak with Stacey Brown, okay? For Let It Be Known, please, because I think that'll be one hilarious. It's gonna be comedy up in here, even though it's so serious because she's a federal judge, appeals court at that. That's what I meant by Stacey. I didn't care about individual cases, but what her competency is off. I wonder how has that affected her cases? Is what I'm saying.
I wonder too. It's a very good point. It's a solid point. You have to, because at 95, look, I mean,
and
Betty White was sharp.
I feel bad for laughing, Stacey.
Yeah, Betty White was sharp at 95, right? Betty White was sharp at about 98, 99. But
she was 99, yeah.
But I don't think Betty White could have been a federal court judge.
You're right. My grandfather, I think he stopped driving at 90, I want to say, and he was 99 when he passed. Him and Betty White passed like a month apart.
We fought.
He was still very sharp, but I don't think I would have let him pick out my outfit for the day. I agree with you, but it's funny to me a little bit because I always say, when I get 95, I want to be just like Pauline Newman and do whatever it is I want. I want to have silver privilege. I want to say what I want, do what I want, because I have that silver privilege to get away with it. But
she's got more than silver privilege. But anyway, we'll leave it there. Thanks for staying with us this afternoon, an afternoon version of Let It Be Known.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow at the regular time, 7:30. We'll all get up early. I'll be tired, but that's okay.
And eat your crawfish. Shout out to Power 96
No
who's boiling
problem.
30 pounds. Where are you, by the way? I want to come. Are you close to Houston, Texas? If you are, please let me know. I
There
want
you
to come try
go.
your crawfish out.
There you go. Soliciting dates on our show. That's a fine. Let's go home, y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the morning.